Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new, my name's Alana and I post fashion videos, singing covers and mental health videos. So I don't like long intros, so I'm just going to jump right into it. Please press that subscribe button if you like the video and also give it a thumbs up. So for today's topic, I'm going to be doing a mental health video, which will be on how I told my parents that I self-harmed, like how they found out. I'm going to try to keep this short. I tried to film this already once before and it just didn't work. I was like, no, I don't really like how it went. So this is my second time. Hopefully this works. But yeah, so I have two separate experiences with this because I had to tell my parents twice and I will go into why that was. So, you know, I have some experience in this department. So I just want to say that at the beginning, if you're under 18, I just really encourage you to please consider telling your parents, even if maybe you think that you've got a handle on it or you don't really need external support. I would really recommend highly telling your parents, because the quicker that you can actually tell someone, the quicker you get help. And it won't go on and on and on and on and on like it has in my experience. So yeah. Also, you may have some underlying mental illnesses or other things that are going on in your life, and if you don't actually get professional help to deal with that, it just gets worse. So yeah, learn from my mistakes, people. So I'm gonna go into the first time that I had to tell my parents that I self-harmed. I started self-harming in April of 2014. I was just about to turn 14 because I'm born in 2000. So yeah, I was about to turn 14. I started cutting and I was like, the months were kind of going on, and it was probably around October, November time, and I was like, I can't handle the guilt of this because obviously it's a lot of work trying to keep things a secret, and I was getting kind of just worn out by being really paranoid all the time, and I was really depressed. And I had a lot of underlying mental health problems that I didn't know were really there because I didn't know anything about mental health. So yeah, I decided that because I felt so guilty about it, not because I wanted to stop or wanted help really, it was honestly because I just felt so guilty about it. And every time I was avoiding my parents, because every time I sit with my parents or whatever, or I'd be alone with my parents, I avoided being one-on-one with them because I was like, every time I'd just be sitting there being like, you need to tell them, you need to tell them, you need to tell them, what if they find out, if they know, oh my gosh, and it was just horrible. So I decided I can't do it. I tried for months to get out to my mom and it just wasn't coming out. And I don't think our relationship was 100% great that time. We used to fight a lot. Yeah, I think, yeah, we were fighting a lot and we'd just get really angry at each other all the time. My mom and I just have a lot of, nothing wrong with it, but we just have a lot of different views on things and everything is quite different. So it was just hard for me to try to figure out what I liked and what I wanted, and then she was kind of no, you know, coming back with her thing of what she thought I should be doing. So yeah, in the end I thought, okay, well, at my church they have pastoral care teams, which is pretty much as the name suggests, they're pastors or people in ministry positions that are really respected and really just generally want to help people. And so they just use kind of their own personal life experience. They don't really have qualifications, I don't think. I don't know, they're definitely not clinical, I know that, but I think they have done some sort of course, obviously. But they use their own life experience, and they will just pray with you and talk to you just about what's going on. And so I'd gone to them before and I trusted these people because I have known them since I was very young. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to go to a particular pastor who I feel I trust to tell her, and then she can tell my mum. So I went to school that day and I was literally out of my mind, just terrified. I was so scared because I was just knew at the end of the day I had to go and tell my mum my deepest, darkest secret that I've been going to extremes to hide, and I didn't even know what I was doing at the time, and I was very clueless on what was happening with me because I was literally 14, and I was all I know is I feel like crap all the time, you know. So yeah, I went to church because they do it at church in their office or whatever, and I went and spoke to this pastor, And right at the, so I wasn't gonna say it. I was like, no, I can't do it. I can't do it. And then right at the end, I went to walk out of the door, and no kidding, like, God literally just spoke to me, and he was like, you need to tell her, like, you need to do it now. And I was like, what? No, I don't want to do that. Like, arguing with God for a bit. And I just felt really strongly. God was like, no, you need to tell her now. So I was like, oh my gosh, fine. So I told this pastor, and then she got my mum in, and then she told my mum. And like, this was honestly like the worst day of my life, to be honest, because I just like I've never felt so like guilty and ashamed and like just completely like dirty and like outed and vulnerable in my entire life. And I was just like, I don't remember what she said. I don't really remember this day is really hard to remember because it was so distressing. I don't really remember. And my mum initially kind of reacted calm, and then we left and we got in the car, and my mum kind of went off, and I don't, like I said, I can't really remember like what was said. It was a while ago, but it wasn't really that great, and she didn't really react very well. And I was like, oh my gosh, I knew this would happen. This is why I didn't tell you, blah blah. And so yeah, that wasn't great. And then I think she just told my dad later. I don't think my dad like ever talked to me about it. In my family, my mum kind of just deals with it. We're Italian, so it's kind of like, there's kind of like this thing in the culture, which I don't like, by the way. I don't go with this, but a lot of people do. It's kind of like this unspoken thing of like everybody has to kind of look perfect, and you can't share any of your problems, and like if you do, you look weak, and like no one can know your business and all this crap. It's all crap. I don't agree with it, but you know, you can't like, it's hard if you've grown up in that culture. I'm not putting anything on anyone, okay? I'm just saying that this is like probably from where my dad was coming from, and he probably didn't understand either. He didn't know what it was, like how to talk to me about it. But yeah, so my mum did try to later on apologize and talk to me, and say like, I'm sorry for like reacting like that, but like she was trying to then be like reverse and be like really nice about it, and I was like, no, I don't want that, like, you know. And my whole reason of telling anyone was not actually to really stop. I think I wanted help for the way I was feeling, but I didn't really want help for the actual behavior, because at that time I was very like, no, like this is my way of coping, right? Yeah, I've been doing it for a while, so it'd been like my go-to thing. And so it just felt really like horrible having like my secret like out there, I suppose. Literally was there like 3 people who knew, but I was still like, oh my gosh, I felt like the whole world knew. And so yeah, like it was kind of like not really a great situation. My mum would get really angry at me and like yell at me, and she'd say things that I found hurtful. Just, you know, as an adult, I can look at it and be like, she didn't understand. She had no, my parents have no, before now, back then they had no idea of what mental illnesses were. Like I have bipolar and anxiety, and I wasn't diagnosed until a bit later, but yeah, they didn't even know what that was, you know? So it wasn't their fault. They were brought up in a very like old school mentality in regards to mental health and mental health issues. So they didn't know signs. They don't really understand like any of it. So they just reacted out of fear and out of like, you know, they didn't know what to do. Obviously anyone would be shocked, but that didn't help me, obviously. And when I tried to say to my parents, like, can I please go get counseling, or can I do this or do that, they'd be like, no, I don't know. I'm not going to go into the reasons behind that because that's personal, but they just didn't want me to. But yeah, so that happened, and so I decided like 2 months later that I was like, no, I don't want them knowing anymore. So because my mum kind of started threatening me as well, like, oh, you have to go back to counseling, and I hated counseling at the time. I was like, I'm not doing that, like, no. So I tried it and I hated it. So I was like, no, I'm just gonna have to be more sneaky about this. And so I stopped doing on my arm. I was doing on my arm, and then I was like, okay, I'm just gonna start doing on my legs, because easy to hide, right? Don't take this as any advice. I'm telling you, don't. But yeah, so I started doing it there instead. So my mom just thought that I wasn't doing it, and even if she did, she never really asked. But it's like, I think she asked once or twice, like, are you doing it? And I just blatantly lied and was like, no. Because at this time I was really like manipulative about it. I was very secretive, like, you know. And with any addiction, this happens where you want to protect your addiction and your coping mechanism, because that is all you have. For however many years, this is the only way that you've been able to help yourself and protect yourself and keep yourself literally like alive in some cases. And so this is very precious to you, even though it's destructive, even though it's bad to you. You're like, this has literally been there for me when no one else has. Like, that's kind of how it is. And so I was very defensive. If anyone tried to even try to help me, really, even though I did want help because I hated how I was feeling, I was so scared of letting go of the coping mechanism, because I was like, no, I need this, you know. So that was the second time. She didn't, okay, then after that, they didn't ever ask me again. No one, even the people who knew about it outside of my parents, no one ever asked me again, which I think was a very bad move. But like I said, they didn't know it was an addiction, so they didn't know that you'll keep doing it. They didn't know like how bad it was going to get as well. And so yeah, later on then, fast forward to the beginning of 2018, I was really not doing well, and the self-harming was getting way more frequent and stuff, and I was at this point starting to get concerned. Like, over the years I'd kind of been like, oh, like I should stop, or this is bad or whatever, but like I didn't really, I was like, I've tried to get help and it didn't work, so whatever, just leave it, I'll deal with it. But then at this point I was like, you know, maybe I should try to do something about it, because I was going to turn 18, which meant that I could go to the doctor and I could go to the psychologist and do whatever I wanted, because I was like legally allowed to, and didn't need my parents to agree. So I waited until I was 18, and I finally, took me like half the year to get up the courage to go to the doctor. I was terrified. I've never been to a doctor for mental health. I didn't know anyone with a mental illness. I didn't know I had a mental illness, obviously, at this point though. So I went, and all I did was just discuss anxiety. I didn't discuss anything else, so scared. I didn't know what they were going to do. And all the doctor did was try to push me onto medication. And yes, medication can be helpful, but when you see someone once and then, you know, you don't just shove pills at them. Like, I didn't need that. I needed proper help, you know, and I needed proper assessment of what was happening with me. So I was really annoyed by that, and I was like, it kind of put me against medication. I was like, oh, you know, they just try to shove pills at you. I don't need medication. You know, I was very kind of like anti-medication at this time, because I was uneducated. I didn't know anything about it. So anyway, I got the referral. I went to like a local like place that provides psychology services to young people, and I started going there. I was working at the time, and I had to end up quitting because of my learning issues, and my mental health was getting really bad, and I was having bad panic attacks all the time, and I couldn't go to work, and it was just bad. So yeah, I ended up quitting my job, and I think this is about August time. I started going to counseling, therapy, and I was about to go to the first session, and I was thinking the night before, like, I have to tell my mom. I just can't really go and like go behind. I felt like I was going behind her back, and even though I was an adult and I could do what I wanted, I just felt like I should tell her, and if she disagreed, that was too bad. I was going still, not in a disrespectful way, but that was just how I had to be. So I wrote a letter. The second time I wrote a letter, and it came from me, and I just gave it to her, and I just sat there while she read it, and it was really horrible, and I didn't want to do it. But I'm telling you, the second time it was a lot better, because I was older. I had more understanding of how I was feeling to a degree, and I kind of could explain what I was feeling, and we had a better relationship. And this conversation was the most important conversation I've ever had, because we both started arguing at first, but then we both just, like, I was able to say all this stuff that I'd been literally holding in for years, and get it all out, and I was able to say like what was really going on, and like just tell her. And then I was like, look, I'm going to this place, I'm gonna get like some counseling, and you know, I know you haven't agreed in the past, but it's what I'm doing. And she was like a lot more this time around. Like, my mom really tried to be very supportive and very like good about it. I don't know, the whole situation was a lot better from when I was younger. And I also, the thing that helped was I sent like a lot of like links to good websites that explain things, and so we did that. And yeah, so but the good thing was, because I was 18, I could decide a lot of stuff. I could decide if I wanted medication, like, you know, going to the doctors, all this stuff. I had my own say in it, which was really good. I wasn't like depending on my parents. Like, I still talked to them about it, but it was like my own choice, you know. So yeah, that's what happened the second time, and that actually was like the turning point for me getting help, because then I felt like I was able to be a bit more open and like access the help I needed, and it kind of like started me on a journey and stuff. So yeah, that was how my parents like how I told my parents that I was self-harming twice. And I would just, like I said at the beginning, like please, like if you're under 18, like go talk to someone. It doesn't have to be your parents. Like I'm gonna stress that, because some people, their parents or their home life is not safe, or it's not in your best interest to do that. I totally understand that. So I would say, if you have a teacher, if you're at school and you have a teacher that you really trust, go to them. If you have a school chaplain, a counselor, go to them. If you have a pastor or somebody at your church maybe who you know you can trust and who can help you, I want to say that as well, because a lot of the time in the past I would tell people and I think they just didn't know what to do with it. So they were concerned for me, but they didn't know how to help me. They didn't know what to do with that information that I told them. It was quite confronting, and they were like, oh, okay. They didn't know what to do with it. So I would say try to go to someone like a teacher, because teachers have more resources. Our school chaplains have resources. Pastors have resources. Like they can kind of like refer you to somebody else if they feel like they don't know how to help you. But it's good just to have that non-clinical support as well, obviously. If your parents are, you know, safe option for you, then definitely tell them. Like, you know, I think that as soon as you can like express what's going on, the sooner that they can hopefully support you and hopefully get you some help. I can't sit here and say that your parents are going to react well. I cannot sit here and say that it's going to go well. I'm sorry, I really wish I could, and unfortunately, like, it just isn't the case sometimes, but at least that you had a go. And I am so proud of you if you're watching this video and you're thinking of doing it. It is terrifying. I can relate. It's so scary. And it's one of the most daunting things you can ever do. But I'm telling you, once you do it, you will feel so much better. Even like regardless of their reaction, you honestly just feel better having it out there. And so yeah, I hope this helped you. If you have any questions, please comment it or send me a DM. And sorry this video is still long. I tried to keep it short, but there's just a lot I had to say in regards to this topic. If you want any other videos to do with self-harm, mental health, Q&As, anything, feel free to hit me up on my DM. All of my social media is down below. And yeah, I'd love to hear from you guys and hear your experience as well. And I hope you have a great rest of your day or wherever you are. And see you in my next video.